tell anyone that I'm here in the south of France. I told everyone back at Auto Trader Towers that I was only popping out for a bite to eat. However, while I'm here, what better way to test out the new BMW 5 Series Touring than to drive it home from Marseille and pick up a few groceries en route. When I'm not writing about cars, I write about food and drink. So naturally, I've picked a route home that will both take in some of the best food and wine regions in France and also put the 5 Series Touring through its paces. So let's put the tour in touring and get the ultimate French dinner party sourcing on the road. First stop is Cornas, a French wine appellation in the northern Rhone region. There's only red wines made here and solely from the Syrah grape. Around this area there are loads of fruit and vegetables produced along with all the wine, and if I can get my hands on it and pronounce it, there's some delicious sounding cheeses too. Oh, and tripe, but I think I'll avoid that. I've come to Jean-Luc Colombo to pick up a couple of cases. They have vineyards throughout the Rhone Valley and Languedoc. For this trip, you could argue that boot space is one of the most important aspects, so it's good news that I'm in the 5 Series Touring. This car comes with most of the same engines as the saloon. It's got the same technology, the same interior, but of course there's more space in the rear. This car also has self-leveling rear suspension, so carrying plenty of cases of wine in the back won't be a problem in terms of weight or space. If I press this button here, the rear seats flip down by themselves and can be split 40-20-40. As you can see, they lie totally flat, and as there's no boot lip, it's really easy to load things into the boot. Space is 570 litres with the seats up and 1700 with them down, which is a little bigger than the Audi A6 Avant, but not as big as the Mercedes E-Class Estate. And it's got an independently opening rear window too, so I can post some cheese in while stuck in a tight space. Although speaking of tight spots, it's not quite as much of a problem with this car as it would be with others. It comes with this rather fun display key. Not only can you preset the temperature of the car or check the doors and windows are locked from the comfort of your own home, you can also use it to remotely park the car in tight spots. Who doesn't want a giant remote controlled car? It's not a cheap option though. I'm now headed for the Burgundy region, so along with picking up some more wine, naturally, I'm also going to be looking for some mushrooms, terrines, pâtés and some sausages to go with all that fun. Been on the motorway for about 5 hours today and I'm still really impressed with the interior. Cabin is a great place to spend hours and it's nearly as nice in here as it is out there. I'm a sucker for a bit of ambient lighting too, and after dark it all looks pretty funky up in here. The 10.2-inch widescreen comes with BMW's professional multimedia system. It's got DAB, sat-nav, online services, a 20GB hard drive to put your tunes on, and loads of connectivity. You can control it either by using the touchscreen or this rotary dial here, which I've been much happier using while driving. This car is fitted with optional gesture control too, so I can control certain functions by doing this or this. Although it's a cool idea and will probably impress your friends, I think my manic arm waving is more distracting to me and everyone else, so I think I'll stick with the dial. I'm someone who needs to blast out the tunes while driving. Sorry for the singing cameraman Tom. Fortunately, the Harman Kardon surround sound system in this car is pretty wonderful and can drown me out admirably. BMW's optional head-up display is still the best of any I've used. You can use the buttons on the steering wheel to get more information up, or you can just have the minimum. Between Satenay, Beaune and Dijon lies the Route de Grand Cru. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a 60-kilometre route taking in the most prestigious part of Burgundy's vineyards. The slopes above the route represent 32 of the 33 Grand Cru wines from Burgundy. So that's the highest level of classification of AOC wines from Burgundy and Alsace. Even on the less smooth roads here, potholes are dealt with admirably, and despite a couple of really bumpy bits, all the wine is still undisturbed in the back. I don't fancy having to decide which of my family members doesn't get their van due to overly enthusiastic bouncing bottles in the boot. Driving along the twistier roads, the touring really does flow from corner to corner. I've always thought of estates as dad cars, but this has changed my mind. It's really easy and fun to drive. I've switched it to sport mode, which firms up the ride and makes the car more responsive, which is perfect for these roads. I've had people pulling out of Vineyards on me left, right and centre, but fortunately the visibility in here is really good. There's only these slim windscreen pillars and the windscreen itself is really tall and wide. I'm pretty thankful for the optional reversing camera though, as visibility out the back isn't great. There's various pillars getting in the way and the rear windscreen is quite narrow. After briefly taking in the sights of the Rue de Grand Cru, I'm hitting the road north to Reims. Demolishing the motorway miles, this 4-cylinder 520D engine in the 5 Series Touring is quick off the mark and pulls really keenly from low revs. The 8-speed automatic gearbox changes gear smartly and I've been really happy with it on all roads. If I have had to change gear manually for whatever reason, it responds really quickly. I've been driving for hours today and have zero aches and pains. The ride is really smooth and in comfort mode everything feels particularly lovely. Wind and road noise is almost non-existent too. The seats are also very comfortable. There's loads of steering wheel adjustment and this car is fitted with the Comfort package, which gets you fully electric seats with memory function. The M Sport trim also gets you these sport seats with lumbar support for both the driver and front passenger. Helpful on both long motorway stretches and for keeping you in your seat when you're flying around corners. The Champagne region is of course famous for champagne, but there are plenty of other culinary treasures here. One is the pink biscuit de Reims, which can survive a dunking in a glass of fizz. A little posher than us losing half a digestive in a cuppa. For those of you with less of a sweet tooth, ham is really popular here. It's more of a coarse terrine and it's covered with a thick layer of breadcrumbs and it's really delicious with the local mustard and cornichons. Slightly less usual are these rose lentils, which as you may have guessed are slightly rose-coloured and thinner than regular ones. And there's more alcohol on offer than just champagne too. Boozy red wine was drunk by the kings of France when they visited France. Traditional beers are still popular and there's even a single malt whiskey produced in the Montagne de Reims. SUVs may be at the top of everyone's wish list at the moment, but I think this car could change minds. It certainly shakes the dad image on the looks front. This M Sport model looks pretty, well, sporty, and I don't think it would look too out of place in my life. It's been the perfect companion for the past 1,000 miles, and despite being on the road for more than 10 hours today, I'm still feeling really good. All that's left to do now is to get this little lot inside and start cooking.